Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. If the Rebels win this up against the Chiefs, they will be through to the quarterfinals. Of course, the Chiefs, they are already secure, but the question is whether or not they will have a home final just around the corner, or at least a home quarterfinal is the first task. Looking at the way that the table sits, the Rebels are on 25 points. They have still got the Highlanders. They've got the Drua. They've got the Force, Moana Pacifica. In fact, all of these sides can actually still overtake the Rebels depending on how these last games go. So they have to be clinical in this contest. They're up against a very strong starting lineup and reserves for the Chiefs, though. So it may be a tough day at the office for the Rebels. In their front row, it is Kailea, Jordan Ulesi, and Talakai at 3. Then Tuilima as the number 4 with Josh Canham as the 5. He has actually been in some sensational form as of late. Josh Kimini actually at 6, so two Joshes next to each other. Brad Wilkin at 7 and also Ekuasi as the number 8. Ryan Lowrens and Carter Gordon make up the 19 combo, similar to what we have seen for a majority of the season. Just in the midfield alongside Filippo Dalgunu, then Darby Lancaster, Lockie Anderson, a couple of Sevens boys out on the wings, and Jake Strawn there as the number 15. So no Andrew Callaway, which I think could hurt them quite a bit in this contest, but overall still should be a very impressive lineup. Looking through at the Chiefs, Aiden Ross, Samasoni Taukiaho, and George Dyer will be the front row. Marakai Selby Rickett alongside Tupavai as the 4-5. Then Simon Parker, Kalen Boshier, and Luke Jacobson in the loose forward trio. Cortez Ratama and Damien McKenzie back to the 19 combo after Josh Jacob got that opportunity not too long ago. Quintu Paya and Anton Leonard-Brown as the 12 and 13 combo, with a Tenai Nana Satoro, Moni Narua, and Sean Stevenson as the back 3. But looking at the chat, we have got What's Up Bulls McGee. Welcome in, Tony. I heard a little rumour from someone in the chat that I may have got a bit of a mention on 2 Cents Gets Distracted again. That's 2 weeks in a row, which is quite impressive. I don't know whether or not any other channel has. Oh, actually, Rian, is it Rian? Rian? Fella from South Africa, he's had quite a few mentions on it as well, hasn't he? I know his last name's Low, but I can't think of what his first name is. But welcome in, Tony. Hope you are doing well. We have got there Chiefy says stay hunky, and also Dam is playing. Or Dame, I assume that is, but Damien McKenzie. They are just showing some of its stats. 119 points already throughout this Super Rugby Pacific season. Rihanna, yep, that's the one. And great game coming up, says NZ Guy on a back game. She was winning well. On paper, it seems obvious, but in theory, it might be a little bit different. Because the Chiefs, for me, come in as huge favourites. Thank you, Rebels. Always fighting it, always Rebels. They have got, as they just made their way through the tunnel. The crowd know how important this game is. You and Rian Low are our faves. Gotta watch your cameo, dude. I heard that you put a clip in, so I look forward to it. And we will probably watch it. Oh, to be fair, I'll probably watch it after this one. Huge, says NZ Guy. Wait, huge? What are we talking huge? And Kia ora, Hamish. Just finished work. Good timing, says Tars. Hopefully you did have a decent day at work. Josh Kimini, he will be hoping to get straight into his work nice and early here and get himself a few post-contact meters. Already had 88 throughout this season. Also has made 96 tackles. And a bit of a workhorse for his side. And, playing a little bit of Triple H here at the moment, or Triple H's entrance. There's no better than Hamish and Kiwi Lads, says Moa Hunters in there as well. Of course, if you guys do like podcasts, be sure to check out 2 Cents Gets Distracted. Couple Kiwi boys talking all things rugby. Spotify, whatever other ones that there are. I've forgotten all of them. I think that's on iHeartRadio if you're in New Zealand. The one, Apple F Podcasts, I still think. Nick Berry in charge of this game. He's my concern out there on the field, but I hope he does well. He's got a new haircut, so he's looking very fly, as the kids would say. G'day, mate. Says Gatsanel, welcome in. That is also something an Australian would say, g'day, mate. And evening at Hamish, brother. And the field will tell the story, says NZ Guy. A huge amount of BS is Distracted Sports for the podcast, of course. But you mean well, don't you, Tony? Is the main thing. But it's going to be kicked off now into the 22 for the Rebels, and Carter Gordon does get the first carry of this contest. The Chiefs, they want position early. They've got a great lineup and they want to show exactly how dangerous they can be while being out on that field. It's like Aiden Ross trying to join that breakdown. Doesn't work out for him. I'm actually thinking he's going to score a try today. Aiden Ross, believe it or not. I hope everyone is well, says Birdie. Certainly are. Hopefully you are doing very well as well, Birdie. Got a feeling the Chiefs are going to show up a bit complacent today. And then finally kick into gear for the second half. And there is a chance that we see that. I feel like that was a little bit similar to the Hurricanes, how they got 3 tries and then they assumed that they were winning up against Moana Pacifica comfortably. That's a big throw over the top from Sebasoni Taukei'aho. Looping around was Anton, Leonard Brown, and D-Mac. Now, Cortez Ratama already had a huge amount of tries throughout this season. Sean Stevenson tries to grab her in behind him. Moni Narawa chasing after it. And Lockie Anderson has to force it down. Will now be the goal line dropout. But a much quicker start to this game than we saw in that Hurricanes versus Moana Pacifica game, where we did see quite a bit of force back being played early on. This one just looks like it's going to be all-out pace from the first whistle. The question is, can the Rebels keep up with that intensity, though, throughout the games? They've had some very good performances. They have pulled off wins up against the Australian sides. Big run from Luke Jacobson now. Sitting about 22 metres out. Quinn Tupaia goes across to Damien McKenzie. Already another advantage in favour of the Chiefs. Now D-Mac, skip pass, goes out to Etenai Nanai Satoro. Will you explain the news Super Rugby rule changes during halftime? I feel like the better one to watch would be 2 Cents Gets Distracted for the full description, but there are pretty much new laws involving the scrum is the main one that's been talked about in terms of free kicks. But overall, you know, it's either going to help the game or it's going to destroy it. Hopefully it's the first one. Now, Sebasoni Taukei'aho, sitting about 15 metres out, still going to be on their side. Skip pass out wide to Quinn Tupaia, whose foot was just on the line. The flag is up. Nick Berry's ignoring it. He's in touch over there, says Nick Berry, and the thing that told him that was the massive flag from the touch judge. But it's going to be an offside penalty one. Just showing there, Quinn Tupaia. Foot was just brushing the touchline there. The flag was up, yeah, and he just didn't care. Spotify, I think it's on Spotify, if I'm correct. I'm sure Tony will help you out there. But yeah, I think that it is on Spotify. Google's not a thing anymore, is it, in terms of the playlists or podcasts. Doing well, mate. No working today. So I'm on the on the couch watching sports. Says Birdie V. Now 3 minutes in, it looks like the Chiefs are actually going to take the 3 points. This is a smart move. I know that I said kick for the corner, but they know that this is one of those games that they can't afford to get too aggressive. Yep, it's on all that stuff, says Tony there. But yeah, they have to make sure they still win this game, the Chiefs, rather than going all out trying to chase points. Even though a couple extra points for them would be pretty handy in this game. Damien McKenzie lining up the first kick. They currently find themselves on 38. They are 1 down in terms of the points compared to the Brumbies. So a 5-point win here for the Chiefs would give them the possibility of going ahead of the Brumbies, definitely because of that massive points differential. They have scored an extra 140 more points than the Brumbies throughout the season. And go the Chiefs. Any Fijian players on the field? Says Octo Dad. Not a huge amount for this game by the looks of it. Oh, that was close to out on the full from the Rebels, but I believe that ball has bounced. No, ref says it's gone out on the full. It was on the line, says Nick Berry. I want to see that one again. To be fair, it was the touch judge who called it. TMO is checking it. It's bounced in the field of play and then gone out. The TMO has overruled it and they will now go back. Now, to be fair to the touch judge, that is a very hard call to have. Because it was maybe 5 centimetres away from being out on the full. So it's a good kick in the end from Carter Gordon. Fijian playing tomorrow. Oct, says Ivan, out, says NZ guy. Chiefs line out so far throughout this season, they've been looking pretty decent. They've been able to have 89%. They've got 14 steals. One of the main reason for that is Tupavai. Dude, you missed your big chance for cash above. Missed my big chance for cash above. Which one we talking? Like about it being on everything, Tony? Oh, I missed another message. Maybe. Oh, good shot. On Strawn on the halfway line. Back across Lowrens to Jordan Ulesi. Left-hand side again. Gibbon. Short ball to Gordon. Almost through. The penalty, says Ivan. And now gets it away. Lowrens to Gordon. Space now for the Rebels. Talakai in behind. Lockie Anderson has got a bit of room to work down the wing, but he's dragged down by Quinn Tupaia. Haven't been on this channel in 3 years, damn, says Toilet Smithy. I don't know whether it's been 3 years, Toilet Smithy. I think it's been maybe a year or so, but I don't know if it's been 3. We've hardly been going 3. But now off Ekuasi. Goes off to Glenn Vaihu, who goes straight through. Now he is on the field rather than Darby Lancaster, who was supposed to be out on that wing. And Glenn Vaihu has just scored the first try of this contest, and they have taken the lead now, the Rebels. Great finish from Glenn Vaihu. Ekuasi, great pass, and then missed tackle from Sean Stevenson. That's not good. That's not what you like to see. He's pretty much just been run over. Well, you're nearly at 50Ks. That's actually amazing. Says Toilet Smithy. Yeah, we've been busy over the last little while. But yeah, missed tackle from Sean Stevenson. Tried to tackle him too high rather than going around the bootlaces. And it means now that Glenn Vaihu, the ex-Highlanders boy, does get the first try of this contest. It's his first match. Oh, sorry, first of the match 5 for the season now for Glenn Vaihu. Good start for the Rebels. This could be closer than it should be. And this is how the Rebels will play. Says up heads ablaze. It's a great pass out wide from Ekuasi, ex-Blues man as well. There's been a lot of changes in the Super Rugby competition in terms of who has gone where. And kick it, boy. Says NZ guy, but the kick has missed. So the score will remain at 5 points to 3. But Ekuasi now. Let's head it up to the 22. And evening goes from Brisbane, mate. How are you? Auckland for life, says James Martin. I'm doing all right. Excited for the weekend, although there are 6 streams that we are planning on doing tomorrow. We got 3 in a row for Super Rugby and then 3 in a row for the URC all throughout the night. So hopefully we don't end up too tired, but I would say we will. That means that the one game that we won't be covering as well, just for anyone wondering for Super Rugby, is Waratahs versus Western Force. A 14-year-old was telling me some stupid random fact, like go to bed. What was the fact though, Novmum? It might be a good one. Go the Rebels, says NZ guy. Ratima goes across to Damien McKenzie. Cross kick to Anton Leonard Brown. Great step from him to get around Glenn Vaihu. Now kicks it downfield. And that one's going to roll into touch about 10 metres out from the line now. Rebels with the line out throw, maybe 10 metres out. Mone Narawa chasing after that one hard, but it was a good kick from Anton Leonard Brown and also claimed that cross kick very nicely. I mean, McKenzie looking for different opportunities out there backline. What did I miss? So far, we've seen the Rebels try from Glenn Vaihu and the Chiefs took the early 3. That's probably the main summary that we've had. Now 10 metres out from their own line, the Rebels have got themselves the line out. And that was almost stolen by Simon Parker at line out time. Going to be cleaned up though by the Rebels. Something about some hole in the atmosphere. You know what, if a 14-year-old came up to me and talked about a hole in the atmosphere, did he use like the actual term? Because if he did, like I'd be more impressed than anything, I think. Yeah, did he use like the actual name of the hole? Because if he did, that's more holes than I know of in the atmosphere. Unless black hole is that in the atmosphere? It might be, or that's more in space, isn't it? Solar system. I think it's somewhere in there. Or can be. Now, Narawa. Back across McKenzie. Great pass. Rebels have a good line out. Says Octodad. And yeah, Josh Canham has won a lot of line outs throughout this season. think he's about up to 42 or 43, I think now. McKenzie going for the little chip in behind again, trying to play the territory game, chasing after this one. Strawn has to clean it up and goes down 5 metres out from his line, so it will be a 5-metre scrum. But the Chiefs, they are definitely trying to play the territory game at this stage of the contest, trying to force them as far back as they can. It's probably a great opportunity for Luke Jacobson in terms of try scorers at this stage. Scrums won 91%. They've also won 15 penalties from their scrums. Go the Rebels. Says NZ guy there as well. And that's the thing. At the moment, the top 4 is very close. And I feel like the other New Zealand sides and the Hurricanes and the Blues, they want the Chiefs to lose this. Because that would mean that they've got a much better chance of qualifying higher. But the other side of things is we have no idea who's going to finish 7th and 8th in the overall standings. The Rebels have got a tough finish to their season. They have to make sure that they're getting it right. Cortez Aratama going to be feeding this ball in now. Off the back, Luke Jacobson. Very close to the line, but he's dragged down 5 metres out. Now Ratama. It's going to go off to Tupo Vai. And he's had the ball stripped out of his hands. Now chance for the Rebels. Glenn Vaihu will kick it downfield. The try scorer chasing after this. It looks like it is Etenai Nanai Saturo. He's got time to work with. Goes across to the right-hand side to Damian McKenzie. It's Quintu Paia on his outside. He's going to run it himself. Little offload up to Anton Leonard-Brown, who was looping around. Seems like him and Damian McKenzie at the moment are on the same page. Out there on the park, Jacobson with the pop pass up to McKenzie, who goes straight through. Look for the pass away. Jumping on that one was Dyer, but there was a knock on. If they win this one, they can tell their kids, says NZ guy. And that's the thing, like, this would be the first time ever that the Rebels have made a top 8 or made a playoff final in terms of Super Rugby, I think they said just before. So that is massive for them, definitely because of what's happened for the club. We've got to remember, this is a side that there were talks that they might not even be a side next year. And if they finish in the top 8, does that give them a little bit of an extra lease on life? Maybe they get someone backing them. 13 minutes in at the moment. Looks like Glenn Vaihu is just down on his knee. Hopefully nothing too serious for that man. We're already 13 minutes into the contest, ladies and gents, and the Rebels have still got themselves the lead. Clayton McMillan watching on eagerly. He has not done what the Hurricanes did, and that is go with a slightly lighter side in this match. They have gone all out for this contest. They know that they have to win this game to stay in that top 4. Like we mentioned earlier on, the Brumbies 1 point ahead of them. Oh yeah, Vaihu, he's just got a cut on the side of his eyebrow. Just below it. A little bit of blood trickling down, but nothing too serious that will take that man off the field. Scrum beat by the Rebels, about 48 metres out from Chiefs try line. You seagulls flying around in Melbourne. Amy Park for this game. I think that the Rebels might try the exact same tactic as we saw from the Chiefs, and that is to go off the back of the scrum with Ikuasi. Okay, another scrum reset here. Just hearing someone say discipline in the front row, make it a super delivery with KFC's just popped up. Tell you what, the amount of times that I read out about KFC, I should be getting paid by KFC, not just Super Rugby. Go wide. Could be an option, although I think that they'll go one phase first. I just get that little bit of a feeling that Ikuasi will try and run it off the back here if he gets the chance to. No, they've actually... Oh, Lauren's tripped over Ikuasi. But now they'll try and use their backline knock on from Dalgunu. And they'll go back for the scrum now, this time in favour of the Chiefs. A little bit scrappy there from the Rebels. Didn't look the best, but hopefully doesn't cost them too much in this scenario. Would a first ever playoff place save the Rebels are based in Melbourne? I hope it doesn't save the Super Round. We need that to happen somewhere else because that never does well. But, I think that there's a chance What's happening here? Okay. 14 years of the Melbourne Rebels, so in the 14th minute they are having a clap in the crowd for this one. And this will be the first time, if they win this game, that they've made a top 8. So that just tells you how much it's going to mean to the players. They've got a free kick now at scrum time, so like I mentioned, didn't cost them too much in terms of territory. Nice run from Euster. Now across Lawrence goes to Gordon. Flat run from Dalgunu. And Jacobson wins the penalty for the Chiefs. And go to Waikato Chiefs mana. Says Christopher Dixon in there as well. Modi Narawa, he's got the ball in hand at the moment. I think he's just waiting for Damien McKenzie to get over. Okay, they were just talking about the scrums. Smisoni Tokiaho just asking Nick Berry what it was for. That's going to be... Okay. Tried to keep it in the field, play Glenn Vaihu, but it has gone into touch. And now the line out for the Chiefs. Yeah, two-man tackle by Quinn Tupai as well as Anton Leonard-Brown. And then Jacobson was right in where he needed to be to steal that ball. About to throw it in. Nicely taken by Marakai Selby. Ricket. Knock on from Kalen Boshia. Now Dalgunu will kick it down the middle of the field. There is a lot of open space here. McKenzie. He wasn't winning that foot race with Carter Gordon, although I don't think he was necessarily trying too hard. He was more trying to stop Gordon from being able to get a full sprint on. That's going to be now the goal line dropout for the Chiefs. But Filippo Dalgunu, that ball just kept on going and going. It's bounced outside the 22 and has gone all the way into the in-goal area, where Tino Nana Satoro was able to deal with the pressure. Only 55% possession in favour of the Chiefs for this contest. Damien McKenzie about to kick it from the goal line, going short. Something you don't see too often, and that's going to be well claimed by the Rebels. A mistake made by the Chiefs. Straight away, Jacobson trying to get that ball back. Ikuasi. Set up well. Lawrence goes across to Carter Gordon. Loose ball. Strawn again finds himself under pressure, but Quinn Tupai jumps on him. So it gives away the penalty. You are not allowed to tackle a man who is on the ground. Player leaving feet penalty there against Quinn Tupai. Ryan Lawrence happy enough with that one. He's had a very good season so far as the number 9, and the Rebels have decided that they want the 3 points here. I think it's a good idea as well for the Rebels. Rain's starting to fall. Hopefully not as serious as the rain that we saw last week for the Brumbies versus Waratahs game. That was absolutely pouring down for that contest. Yeah, just a little bit of a brain fade there from Quinn Tupai. Decided to jump on the man who was on the turf. I believe this will be inside of, what I was going to say is inside of Carter Gordon's range, but it looks like actually they're going to give it to Nick Euster to go for the 3 here. About 40, 44, 45 metres out. I would have thought that Gordon had it in him, but they've decided Euster is the safer option here. There's a breeze behind him as well. He struck it well, and he's got it over. Fantastic kick from Nick Euster. And it now gives the Rebels an 8-3 lead over the Chiefs. And the rain does look like it's starting to get a little bit more heavy than it was just before. Question mark is how is that going to impact the way that these two sides are playing. We'll probably see a little bit more kicking taking place. The Chiefs early on were already trying to play a territory game. Oh, Carter Gordon not happy with that one. Or was it touched? Is that why someone wasn't happy? Come on, the Chiefs, a CT to take the lead. Says it was there from Novman. Flat run from Tupovai. And hi, Hamish, thanks for the commentary, my friend, says Josh Pike. No worries at all. Hopefully you have been having a good week so far. Ratima goes across the Simisoni Taukiaho. Across the Tupavai. Still 30 metres out. We got something that's happened there. Little knock on in the breakdown from the Chiefs. And the Rebels, once again, have been able to hold the Chiefs out. 8 points to 3, 4 errors coming, and that is the second knock on from Tupavai in this match so far. Okay, referee just telling the players what was going wrong there. There it is, just knocks it out of his hands, Jordan Ulesi. But the context is raining in Melbourne now, and had a good downpour earlier in the day. Will be a bit greasy, says Joe Webby. Chiefs, what you doing? Says no, mum. It just seems to be very common recently for the New Zealand sides to have one lock who can't hang on to the ball. Hurricanes had it in the game up against Blues. It was Isaiah Walker-Leawiti. They had it in that game that they played just then up against Moana Pacifica and Justin Sangster. And now Tupavai seems to have caught that bug, whatever it is, which is just drop the ball all the time. But the ball is out. Ryan Lowrens, now it's a knock-on. Okay, Josh Canham's also caught that bug because he has put that one down, and it's now going to be the scrum for the Chiefs again. You got to feel for the players as well. No one wants to drop the ball. No one tries to drop the ball either. It just happens sometimes, whether it's the conditions, whether it's looking up at where you think you're going to be running before you've actually caught it. This time there. Oh, in fact, no, it wasn't Josh Canham. It was Tui Lima, I believe. Missed tackle so far. 7 from the Rebels compared to the 5 of the Chiefs. So that is one stat that the Chiefs do have in their favour with the tackle completion of 84%. Already a quarter of the way through this contest. And Cortez Ratama about to feed the ball in here for the Chiefs. It's a big scrum from them as well. No advantage in play, but great pickup from Damian McKenzie. Perhaps the rumours of Richie Mo'unga returning has really made him step up to the next level. And to be fair, he's already been playing at that next level all throughout the season for Damian McKenzie. Good leg drive from Simisoni Taukiaho. Now Tupavai pops it up to Damian McKenzie. Cross to Stevenson. Leonard Brown. 2-man tack on him by Kimini. Now Ratama. Another hit up for Tupavai. Dyer moving into the 22. Ratama across to Quinn Tupai, who looks likely to score a try at some stage throughout this contest. They've got a lack of numbers here on the left-hand side. Inside ball from McKenzie to Simon Parker. He has to clean out a prop there, McKenzie, but Jacobson gets to 10 metres out now. Ratama, short ball to Aiden Ross. My pick to be able to score in this game. It's a bold one. Now in behind. Out to Amoni Narua. He's got the guy with him. But they're 5 metres out now, the Chiefs. Ratima. Short ball to Tupaia. Good shot on him. Manages to flatten him out. Now Vai with the step and the try for the Chiefs. Tupavai in for the first of the contest. I should have said he was going to score, shouldn't I? The big lock, the man who couldn't hang on to the ball, has now scored the first try of the contest for the Chiefs, I think. Of course, we just want to make sure in the replay he's got this one down and hasn't knocked it on. But I think he's good there, Tupavai. Oh, hang on, we're going to see it from the other angle. I just want to check, because if anyone was going to put it down in this game, nah, he's put it down over the line. And Stevenson, the next All Black sensation. Yeah, he didn't look so sensational when he missed the tackle that let Glenn Vaihu get the first try for the Rebels. Pretty soft effort from him. He's normally very good at the back, though, Sean Stevenson. So it was just a rarity for him to get bumped off as easily as he did from Glenn Vaihu. And, well, and Ono says, nah, he's got it. He's got it. It's been given the green light. And he scored the try, Tupavai. Now McKenzie going to be lining up this kick, smiling about it to his D-Mac. D-Mac fighting his way back into the side after the head knock. And that kick has gone over, so the Chiefs now going to be sitting 10 points to 8 in their favour. They've taken the lead. The Chiefs Mano 25-13, says D's. And there as well. Yeah, Vai doing very well to be able to score it. Definitely when he's only that far out from the line. That's only his second try of the season. He's been very consistent in his meters. That's kicked out on full this time from Carter Gordon. Kimini is off, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I mentioned could be one of the keys at the start of this game. Does seem like he is going to be taken from the field. I think due to some sort of head knock, I want to say, is why he is off the field. Meme brothers, says Christopher there. Just talking about the fact that he will more than likely go to the side of the scrum now. The man who has come onto the park. Well, we will go like that. And we will go like this as well. Currently in the odds, for anyone wondering about them, the Rebels are $7 underdogs, which is slightly less than they were at the start of the game. So I believe they came in as $1 underdogs at the start of the contest. Or sorry, not $1 underdogs, $6 underdogs. And now they come in sitting a little bit lower at the 7. But they've been told to use it there for the Chiefs now. Ball on the outside could be available. Anton Leonard-Brown though. Nice tackle made. Now Narawa looking for the pass across to Luke Jacobson. McKenzie off to Samasoni Taukiaho. Seems like the Chiefs have now started to find their rhythm once more here. McKenzie with the ball off to Boshier. Tackle 22 metres out from the line. And knocked on by Ratama. Off to Dalgunu. Tackle by Tupavai. Now back across, Ryan Lowrens. And behind to Anderson. Hands from Canham look good. Ball on the outside to Strawn, who chips it in behind into open space. But McKenzie is there to be able to clean it up. And he gets it away to Atino Nanasatoro with some good stepping. Out on the wing, dragged back, but Boshier is there at first receiver. Now Vai, Stevenson goes for the cross kick. And Moni Nuttall has kept that one in the field of play. Park is smashed by Glenn Vaihu. Back across. A little bit of obstruction almost there from George Dyer. He doesn't look good at the moment, George Dyer. I don't know whether he's very tired or maybe a little bit of a head knock on him. But Atino Nanasatoro again going to be cutting through the defensive line. Back up to his feet as he wasn't held. But onto the ball there. Tualima loses his footing. And it gives away the penalty. Not supporting body weight. Carter Gordon might be a bit injured here too. That is the last thing that the Rebels want, is to lose him. Definitely if they are able to make it through to the quarterfinals. If he has some sort of injury here that takes him out of play. Oh, okay, so it's Tupavai joining the ruck. He's got a little bit of head contact there. I would be very surprised if this is anything more serious than just the penalty. Aussie commentators saying they should have a look at it. I mean, it's head on head, but it's not cynical, I don't think. They're going to have a look at this, though. But the question is, if you don't join that ruck the way that Tupavai did, I guess you can put your head slightly lower. But you're still... Is this going to be a red card? If Carter Gordon didn't stay down, I don't think we would have even looked at this. Okay. It meets the yellow card threshold for Tupavai. Could have been lower, made direct head contact. It's going to be a yellow card, and it's going to be on report. But now the TMO has a big decision to make. He was the one who decided that it was foul play. Right, Aussie commentator sounds like he wants a red card there for Tupavai. But now, ready to kick this one towards the touchline. I think they're just making a good point as well. Does Carter Gordon have to go off for an HIA because it was direct head contact, or is he allowed to stay out on the field? It's an interesting rule. They still need to iron out the cracks in it, I believe. Like, don't get me wrong. Meets the yellow card threshold according to the law book, but there are also things in there that are variables that seem to switch per game. Going to be thrown in now by Jordan Ulessi, goes over the top, and that's knocked on by Damien McKenzie. Tried to go with a little tap pass, but has travelled forward in its process. Defend Chiefs, says Novmum in there as well. 9 minutes remaining of that Tupavai yellow card. It's probably lucky that he scored himself a try before going off the field. Like they just said, maybe Ikuwasi was the man who was supposed to get that hard D up, boys. Says Christopher. That could mean something very different, Christopher, with the way that that's worded. But Ikuwasi looks like now he has got some sort of injury here. Hopefully nothing too serious for that man, as he has had a very good Super Rugby season, a player who they do need moving forward. Looks like the rain is just starting to get a little bit heavier as well. The TMO called it yellow. It's a good chance he'll call it a red. That's my slight concern in that case for Tupavai. Just saying that the rain is set in, but it definitely isn't quite as heavy as we saw for the Tars versus Brumbies game. We saw puddles on the field. No, this is going to change the game a little bit with the amount of rain that is falling just now in Melbourne. Should mention, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone wondering about what games we have got coming up in the future, tomorrow we have got 3 games back to back to back of Super Rugby Pacific. We are first covering the game between the Fijian Drua and the Reds. That is going to be at 2:05 p.m. New Zealand time. Then at 4:35 p.m. it is Crusaders versus Brumbies, followed by Highlanders versus Blues at 7:05. Now, we will not be covering the game that has taken place between the Force and the Waratahs, as that is going to be at 9:35. But the games that we are covering straight after that in the URC, we are going to be covering Benetton versus the Bulls. That is kicking off at 12 a.m. New Zealand time. Then we've got Lions versus Glasgow at 2:05, followed by Connacht versus the Stormers. That is at 4:05. So we've got 3 games of the URC also taking place back to back to back. And they have a lot less gaps in between them than we do see for Super Rugby. It's pretty much one game straight after the other, straight after the other. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I probably won't have much of a voice at the end of it. Nabolakasi makes his way onto the field to replace Ikuwasi. Now, ball fed in by Ryan Lawrence. How much of an equaliser can that yellow card be? Lawrence goes in behind to Carter Gordon. Ball to Lockie Anderson. Benetton bet the Sharks. I had a bet on that game. Says King, and yeah, it was a great performance. Oh, checking contact here. Looks like it might be head on head. Sean Stevenson has stayed down. Eye from Timaru says Sean. I'll be at Wembley tomorrow, says Fleshen. What's at Wembley tomorrow, Fleshen? Am I forgetting something that is happening? Right, we're going to see it now. Oh, yep, Sean Stevenson, head on head. It's going to be... Oh, it's just a rugby collision is the call from the commentator for this one. Brad Wilkins was falling. There's no foul play. Okay. Consistency. It's going to be a blue knock on though, which does mean that the Chiefs have actually got themselves the scrum feed here. Right, Carter Gordon's going off for his HIA. I don't know why he had to make 2 more contacts with his tackles before they realised that he got a little bit rocked. So Ripley makes his way on to the field. Oxford United versus Bolton playoff final. Who are you going for? You're going for Oxford, I assume? In that case. But there's Ratama now to put the ball in for the Chiefs. Ooh, that's a free kick against the Rebels. Nick Berry has said that they've done too much. Right, they're going to take on the scrum now. Just going down. Nick Berry saying he gave them the benefit of the doubt for the last one. This one he had to give them the free kick there, the Chiefs. 6.5 minutes remaining. There is time left in this half for a possible Chiefs try or a Rebels try if they manage to get themselves another turnover. They did win the free kick earlier on in this one. And come on the Rebels, says King Kaya. And also, yeah, especially as Bolton, it's where the mother-in-law was from, says Fleshen. Okay. Oh, that's going to be the penalty this time rather than the free kick. It's been upgraded. Okay, that is against Matt Gibbon. I don't think we're supposed to be on the field for a start. I thought it was supposed to be Kai Lear. It looks like we have lost people. Says NZ guy. You've lost people? And also I left any... I might not have any nails left. If Melbourne, says Mr. Bean. I'm biting my nails. Says King. In there as well. Just pushing back a little bit in terms of the big push from one side. Bent him down like that. And that's going to be not straight from the Chiefs, which now gives the Rebels the scrum feed. I don't know if they want the scrum at this point, because that's where they've been penalised the most throughout this game. Yeah, that wasn't great. From Simasoni Takiaho, almost called on the outside for Matakai Selby Rickett, so you can understand why it was given as the penalty. Or the free kick, sorry. And go the Rebels, says NZ guy. Currently pretty close between these two sides. And the unthinkable things I'd do to see a Stormers versus Chiefs game again, says Justin. It would be great if it was possible. Rebels is dead, says Mr. Bean. And come on the Rebels, says Spinks. And I think the score, Rebels 35, Chiefs 20. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. This Rebels attack has actually looked very strong throughout the first half. They've got another penalty advantage. They also have a man advantage at the moment with 4.5 minutes remaining. So that is a perfect opportunity for them to be able to throw everything at their opposition. Strawn goes back across to Oost. Tackled low by Simon Parker. Now again going right. Glenn Vaihu with the ball on the inside to Jordan Ulesi. Lawrence to Dalgunu. Driven backwards and into touch, but the ball has been kept alive. They'll go back now for the original penalty. It's going to be against Damian McKenzie. And the breakdown. Right, they're about 48 metres out now, maybe 50 at a stretch, and I think they're going to go for a shot at the posts again. This would be Nick Gust. Okay, the card's going to stay as a yellow card as well, as what we have just been told. So Tupavai will be back out onto the field in 3.5 minutes. Very interested to see how the Australians do in the Rugby Championship, says Justin. And yeah, with Joe Schmidt as their coach, it's pretty hard to say, to be honest. I have no idea how their contests are going to go. But hopefully they do all right. And they aren't too far in the rebuilding phase, if that makes sense. Hopefully they just find their feet. A lot of guys from that Australian Wallabies squad have been playing very good Super Rugby. When is the Blues playing? They are playing tomorrow night at 7:05, and they are going up against the Highlanders at Eden Park. Chiefs have visited the opposition 22-5 times at this stage of the contest. Rebels, just the one visit, but they were able to score. Now a little loop around from Jordan Ulesi just ends up slipping, and of course with the wetness out there on the field at the moment and the rain falling, there will be a few times that we see slight slips and tumbles. Try, says Mr. Bean. Not quite. If you're ahead of me, maybe, because that's a nice wide cutout pass. Oh, and Ripley just goes into touch. He's trying to keep the ball alive, but didn't quite do it. Now 10 metres out from the line, the Chiefs will have their own line out. Going to be the easiest one for them. Well, we'll go like that, and I like that. So they are still favourites. Are you going? Of course I'm going. Says King. I am not. No, I'm not from Auckland. But I'm going to be commentating it. A bit of fun. And cheers, Amish, says David the Mod. Welcome in, David. Hope you're keeping well. Mackenzie inside of his 22. Kicks it into touch. 3.5 minutes remaining. There's still plenty of time in this first half to see one last play. One last try and get out of there, Chiefs. Says Novmum. And when are the Blues playing? Says Kaya. Is that your other account, Kaya? Because one's called King Kaya 685, and the other one's called Kaya 685. But they are playing tomorrow, like I mentioned. They are going head to head with the Highlanders at 7:05. And first half, says NZ Guy, exactly right. Plenty of time left. And this matchup, nice run forward from Tuilima. Now off to the right, bit of a juggle from Dalgunu, but he's managed to clean it back up. Now to the right again to Matt Gibbon. Now the big question mark at the moment for this matchup is how strong are the Rebels going to be in the later stages of the contest. For now, they're looking good. That's me. My name's Zion. So you got both your accounts on, I assume, in that case. Now, Ryan Lawrence through the hands of Glenn Vaihu. Given. Another big shot on him by Parker, but he gets the offload away to Josh Canham. I'm still not sure what the tactic's going to be for the Chiefs in the second half. I'm stumped a little bit for it because they were trying cross kicks early on. And I don't think they've really tried that since the rain started falling. It's going to be another penalty, though. They are offside, says the referee. I hope the Rebels win, says Kaya. I wish I was played ping, and I'm going for that, says Kaya in there as well. But just about to make his way back out onto the field is Tupavai, who was taken off. He's already scored himself a try, but now he's also had 10 minutes off the field. So far, the Rebels have not been able to make the most of that. I'm going for that, says Kaya there. It's going to be an offside advantage, and I believe they've actually kicked this one for the corner here. Or have they? No, they are going for the 3 points. That is a smart option in this scenario. You don't want to risk too much if you're the Rebels. You just want to get that lead back as the half is almost over. At the moment, there are 35 seconds remaining for Just to be able to take this kick. I believe he'll be able to use up a majority of it. Set him 1 from 2 today. When did he miss one? Did he miss the first kick? I thought it was Carter Gordon who took the first kick. I was meant to go with my Nana and Grandpa to the Blues match, but they died. Says Kyle, although you said about 2 or 3 minutes ago that you were going to the game. So I'm sorry for your loss, if that is true, which I'm not sure because 3 minutes ago you said you were going, so that was very sudden if that is the case. No, says Novmum. Now Damien McKenzie kicking this one off. They will go short. It looks like they're trying to retain this ball. Yes, we got one, says Kaya. Now Tenai Nana Satoro. Moving up to the 22 metres out and behind McKenzie. Short ball to Marakai Selby Rickett. They had the advantage and they will now go back for it. Strip is good, but it was offside from Jordan Ulesi. They will now have the opportunity to go for the shot themselves, the Chiefs, and this would actually give them the lead going into the second half. Get a try, please, Chiefs, says Novmum. No, I don't think they want it at the moment, though. I think that they are happy enough going for those threes. Just because you don't really want to risk looking for an extra three or going for an extra try and not getting it. Definitely if the turnover is good, because they'll more than likely just boot their ball in to touch the Rebels. But Mackenzie lining up this one. Kaya says Kaya in there as well. Now Mackenzie to give the Chiefs a halftime lead. This first half has flown by. I've said that a lot more about Super Rugby recently, but that kick has gone over from Damien Mackenzie, and that is now 13 points to 11 at this stage of the match. When did this half start? 35. So that once again is only about a 40, 47, 48 minute half, which is pretty handy. I'm your big fan, says Kaya. Is that you on your account there, Kaya, or the other Kaya? Which Kaya is the bigger fan? That's the question. Oh, they got KFC ad again. They're just making me hungry. Adamoka for the Rebs, says Annoy. Oh, says Kaya there. But looking through at some of the first half stats, we will get them up now, but also looking through at the reserves, who they have got off the bench for the Rebels. They have got Dobbins. Matt Gibbon actually started this match due to another propping injury. And Pone Fa'amasuli will be there at number 18. Smith and Nobula Kasi, who's already made his way onto the field. They got Rob Leota there, Jack Maunda, and also Glenn Vaihu as the rest of their replacements. Although Vaihu did start, so they've got a different man at 23 now, seeing as he is in the starting side for the Chiefs. Bradley Slater, Jared Prophet, and Ruben O'Neill. And Nato Akoi and Wallace Satiti as the other two options, with Xavier Rowe, Josh Ioane, and Rameka Poihipi is there as the other player. So, decent enough overall, I would say, for the Chiefs. Just more of that question of whether or not they can get something firing in the second half. They've only scored the one try. That was of Tupavai, which isn't normally something you'd say about the Chiefs for at halftime. They've had 221 metres carried compared to the 185 carried for the Rebels. Also alongside that, we have seen 19 defenders beaten for the Chiefs compared to the 7 defenders beaten by the Rebels. 5 clean breaks compared to the 2 clean breaks of the Rebels. And then in terms of the tackling numbers, some pretty decent ones overall for this Rebel side, 71. But the big problem that they've got at the moment is the fact that they have missed those 56 they've missed 19 tackles, I should say. Probably the stat that's hurting them. Discipline, 4 and 4 in terms of the penalty count, but 1 yellow has gone against this Chiefs side, that being Tupavai, who is also the lone try scorer. At least the Chiefs are ahead. And now the Chiefs score, we are losing, says Kaya. I didn't know that somebody's name is me, says Kaya, although earlier on you did say that it was your other account, Kaya. So, it's a bit confusing, isn't it? We have got there, Clayton, going to give the boys a good talking to. There's a nod, mum. And come on, the Rebels, please. But yeah, I feel like that wasn't the first half that either of these sides were particularly after. It didn't feel like they were clinical enough at times. Do you think Nato Akoi will get some game time? Plays basketball on the rugby field. Like him, says King. I think he's a very decent option overall, Nato Akoi. In terms of his impact that he brings off the bench as well, it just seems to be very substantial for the Chiefs. And second half likely where the Chiefs will turn it up a notch, unless the Rebels pull a rabbit out of a hat, says Simi Souza, which they could. I mean, they've had a decent enough performance so far. I did not know there was the same account as me. But it's your other account, Kaya. It's like the same name. Everything's the same pretty much. But in terms of players who stepped up In this half, so far we have seen 42 metres run by Lockie Anderson. He's had the most out of anyone. Then also 42 metres run by Anton Leonard-Brown and 42 by Luke Jacobson. Very common number at the moment to have 42 out there on the field. Tackle stat, 7 tackles made by Ekuwasi as well as Tualima. And then also 8 tackles made by Jordan Ulesi. So looking very strong at this stage of the match. Then also, in terms of the tackling stats, so the Chiefs, 8 tackles made by Quintapai, who's also managed to get the turnover 1. And then I believe there are 4 players on 6 tackles. Kalen Boshier, Manakai Selby Rickett, Taukiaho, and Aiden Ross. Well, I didn't know that. Rip Dean O'Kane, I have no idea who that is, but condolences. Of course, I'm King Kaya's friend. But you recently said that you didn't know them, didn't you? This is such a plot twist, ladies and gentlemen. There's a whole story building at the moment. But yeah, second half hopefully will be just as quick and free-flowing as the first. Says Kaya in there as well. Now, second half. I think what we are going to see is the Chiefs try and go full out for the first 10 minutes. Well, let's continue the game. It's half time. We can't. We've got to wait till they get back out on the field before they can continue. They're just talking about that Tupavai, one that ended up being a yellow card for Tupavai. Only off the field for the 10 minutes. I feel like the change of Ngātawa Koi in the second half could be a very handy option. Just keep the peace and stop the possibility of another yellow for Tupavai. This is the business end of the competition. You don't want to be losing your players to suspensions at this point. Looking through at the way that the table sits, the Chiefs, if they win this game, they will be sitting on 42 points, 43 if they can pull off a winning bonus point. For the Brumbies, they are on 39 points currently, but they are playing the Crusaders tomorrow. We are also going to be covering that game. Hurricanes up the top after winning their game up against Moana Pacifica. They move up to 47. And then the Blues still have a game in hand, and they are sitting on 45. The Reds playing the Fijian draw. That's going to be an all-important game when it comes to the top 8 picture. It has taken place in Fiji, and of course the drawer have had a fantastic record at home this season. Away from home, not so much. So it might be a tricky game next week that they find themselves going head-to-head with the Brumbies, I think, but I could be wrong there. I thought it was the Brumbies anyway, but it may actually be a New Zealand team in New Zealand. I think the Rebels may play the Brumbies next week now that I think about it. That will also be a tough game. It seems like you're being trolled. I wouldn't so much say trolled because I feel like I'm well aware of what's going on, if that makes sense. When is the quarterfinal, says Zion? Quarterfinal, going to be taking place, I think, early June, like 9th of June, somewhere around there, I believe, when the quarterfinals are taking place. Is my profile name changed? Says Zion. It is, yes. I thought you were a Highlanders supporter, Zion. I thought that you were from Dunedin. Or is that a different Zion of the 15 that we have? Moana, my God, minus 202 is absolutely tragedy. Says Katzenell, yet they're still not bottom of the table. That's the fun thing about the competition at the moment. Like, as bad as that may seem, they're still in the comp, if that makes sense. Like, they still have a chance of making the quarterfinals. Isn't that insane? But if the Rebels win this game, they are guaranteed a quarterfinal spot, which will be the furthest that this club has ever gone in their 16 years of being a club, which is just crazy to think. Second half not too far away, ladies and gents. Like I mentioned, it was a pretty free-flowing first half, 48 minutes or so, 47 if you count the time, or take a little bit of time off for players running off the field. Oh, an Australian team bottom of the table, says Katzenell. That is correct. Just for now, though. They're not doing too badly, are they? The Aussie sides, the Reds are looking all right. The Western Force starting to make a little bit of a comeback here, which, will be a welcome change for the Western Force, seeing as at the start they had so many tough games. They were playing New Zealand sides week in, week out, and also losing those Australian derbies. Now they're in the position where they actually have a great chance of getting to the quarterfinals, which I don't think many people expected at the start of the season. Halftime always seems longer when they put a KFC ad at the start of it. I'll tell you that right now. But George Dyer has had a quiet game, ladies and gents. I thought he looked wobbly earlier on, so I'm hoping there's nothing serious in terms of an injury there for that man. But if there is, hopefully it doesn't keep him out for long enough to miss playoff rugby, because that is such an important time for the Chiefs. They want to prove that they are a side that can be top contenders. We're about to find out if they can, though. And this will test them, because second half here, it's not going to be the easiest half of rugby that we're ever going to see. The Rebels are in this game. They're fighting hard. Just checking the odds at the moment. The Chiefs are favourites, as you would expect. And currently, the way that it sits, I believe, one moment, we'll go to the right section. There's $7 favourites for the Chiefs, which is, $7 underdogs, the Rebels, which is what they were last time that we did check. Which they're only down by 2 points, so I feel like that is quite impressive that they are still as close as they are there. Sean Stevenson, he's had a bit of a quiet game so far at number 15. He also took a head knock. I don't think he has gone from the field that I know of. I didn't see his name there anyway in terms of going on and off. But definitely a player for the Chiefs that they will want to have available for the second half. Quintupai, I think he's had some great flat runs that he's done so far. Tinoinana Satoro as well has looked good. McKenzie's had his moments. A couple of big runs from Jacobson. In terms of the Rebels, I thought Ikuasi looked good before he ended up with the injury. I support the Blues and the Rebels, not the Highlanders. Says Zion there. I'll believe you. And then also, I think in their backline, Euster, he's been good off the kicking tee at times. And then also Dalguni with some nice flat runs in there. And Glenn Vaihu, a man who was added into the lineup late, has still looked very good throughout this game. But I think line-out's going to be so crucial in the second half. I think whereabouts are we? It's an 11-minute break so far, so we're probably 2 minutes away. If not, maybe a little bit less from when we get to see the players make their way back out onto the field. They are just interviewing the Rebels assistant coach. And I always appreciate your hard work, especially your pronunciations of the names. Are real hard as Tongan Tupavai. Or Vai. Is it? I end up getting a bit excited and I kind of add a bit more emphasis on him. But Tupavai. Vai. They're just showing when the games are taking place tomorrow. Fiji and Drua versus the Reds. That is going to be the first match that does take place, and we will be covering that one on the channel, as well as plenty of others. We've got the game taking place afterwards between the Brumbies and the Crusaders, and then also the game after that one that has taken place. That is going to be between the Highlanders and the Blues. Tupavai. There we go. I feel like I was overthinking it. But yeah, I get a bit excited and go eek rather than I. They're just showing some of the rain that was falling for the Force in their last game up against the Brumbies. Hopefully, they don't have to experience that again. It is not an easy day to play rugby when it is absolutely bucketing down. Although they did make it look all right in that game up against the Brumbies. They had some good plays. They just managed to miss out on the bonus point, which seems to be happening more and more recently in terms of sides missing out by 8 points. Seems to be the magic number. We saw it for Moana Pacifica versus the Hurricanes just before. And that's rugby, says NZ Guy. Seen 6 line breaks from the away side, the Chiefs. Seen a lot less coming from the Rebels. That does not mean that there won't be some coming for them in the second half. Definitely if they get off to a great start in this half. That is the main thing. Get an early try. Get your confidence up. The crowd are on their feet at the moment, or at least some of them are. I think that's just so that they don't get a wet bottom from the seat while they're in the halftime break. Also get to stretch your legs a little bit as well. Can feel quite nice after sitting for a while. And yes, there's NZ guy by the Chiefs now. Oh no, he's broken the flag. Who was that? Simon Parker. He was trying to run round the side of it and ended up taking the flag straight out over the top. Which, I mean, you hate to see it, but at the same time, it's quite funny, isn't it? So, I'm glad it's happened. Now both sides making their way out of the tunnel. Of course, the Chiefs have already taken to the field. Now we are seeing their opposition, the Rebels, who are only down by 2. Hope it's not raining in Hamilton next Friday night. Have you looked at the weather forecast, Daniel Cox, at all? Is there a chance that you could see a little bit of a rain shower? For your sake, I hope that there isn't, but also at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of rain around. Carter Gordon, he's back out on the field, so he must have passed his HIA. I believe that Ikuwasi, though, at this stage has not returned to the field. Not that I know of anyway. I didn't see him making his way out of the tunnel. I do see there Brad Wilkin with his ginger mullet. Carter Gordon now ready to kick this one off for the second half between these two sides. Going to be a higher scoring second 40 than the first. I think so. I think it's going to open up near the end of this game. The ball is there, available for the Chiefs. I haven't checked the weather. I mean, to be fair, like, whatever the... Wow, that's a terrible pass into the pocket. I'm not even sure who that was. Now, Damian McKenzie has to pass it across. That was a cheap shot from Brad Wilkin. Now, have a look at that one, I would think, and it's a good kick downfield. Brilliant kick. Anything on the late shot? Nope. That's fine. Going to see it here, though. McKenzie having to run it from inside of his own area. Passes it across. Yeah, cheap shot from Brad Wilkin. Hits him late. And it is fine. Now Rebels going back across to Lawrence. Filippo Dalgunu. Now Lawrence back across to Gibbon. Had to start this match at number 1. Wasn't expected to start. Actually was supposed to be coming off the bench, but the prop injuries for the Rebels just keep on adding up. Carter Gordon, Anderson, Strawn goes on the outside to Glenn Vaihu, who's already scored himself 1 try in this match, and the Chiefs win themselves the penalty in the breakdown. It's Quinn Tupaia. That is now his second turnover that he has won. Just too quick getting over the ball. Like they're saying, just that midfield combo I did, says SMG. McKenzie will be kicking this one for the touchline. Had to try and banana kick. Didn't get a huge amount of meters on it, but it was right next to the touchline, so always going to be tricky to get a decent meter. But yeah, Quinn Tupaia straight away on the ball. Trying to rip it away from the opposition. Nicely taken by Manakai Selby Rickett there. Tokiaho slowly moving forward here. $50 meters out. Still going forward. Nick Berry says you can keep on going because you're still moving. Now Ratima across to George Dyer. Now Tupaia. Another run. It's about 5 or 6 extra meters there. Ratima. Pop pass up. Yolesi tackles Va'i without the ball. Ratima again. Goes off the Manakai Selby Rickett. Oh, that was great work in the breakdown from Rob Leota, but he just missed the ball slightly. Wasn't able to get it back now, running out wide. Amoni Narawa with the ball in hand. A little bit of push and shove there from Jacobson. And now his opposite number. Was it Melbourne Rebels? Or was it the Melbourne Rebels? Might not come back next year for Super Rugby. It is indeed. So the fact that if they win this game, they can confirm a spot in the top 8 is absolutely massive for them. And I feel like that would be what would almost, in a way, save their club. Now, I don't know how serious they are at this point in terms of if that is do or die, but I believe they're getting pretty close to it. Phase is being put together well by the Chiefs. Now passed across to Tupovai. And yes, there's Octodad. Being told to use it again. Cortez Aratima going in behind to Damian McKenzie. Narawa gets the run and try out wide. And the Chiefs now give themselves that little bit more of a lead. And it just seemed simple for them. Just the passing out the back line and outnumbering of defenders. The Rebels look gutted about that one. How many did they have here? Just popped in behind. It was supposed to be 2-on-2, but because of the missed tackle of Carter Gordon, it meant that Vaihu got caught in no man's land halfway in between two of the attacking players. And then just pass on the outside to Amoni Narawa. Friday is cloudy and sunny in Hamilton. Great work from Amoni Narawa. And great assist for that Chiefs backline. Yeah, good for them. To make it to the finals. Sad to see any franchise to leave. A lot of people affected. Says Lowry. Yeah, and some people do forget that it isn't just the players who end up losing their job or having to find other teams. You know, it's the coaches, it's the physios, it's the, like, pretty much everything. Hang on, we got a TMO check for a knock-on. Right, the TMO's found a knock-on leading up to the try. Okay, there's a knock-on from the white player in scrum, or in the last breakdown. Oh. Okay, yep, it's a knock-on from Manakai Selby Rickett. No try for the Chiefs. Are there any teams being groomed to replace the Rebels if they go at the end of the season? Not that I know of. I haven't really heard any rumours of whether or not there's going to be an Argentine side or a Japanese side or what the deal is going to be. I hope that they can find a replacement just to make it easier to have 6 games a weekend rather than a bye. But maybe bye would actually be a little bit better for players just because then they get that little bit longer of a rest every once in a while. But yeah, I feel like they'd have to find a team to replace them. Thanks for the weather update for next week, says Daniel Cox. Now, Chiefs already had the penalty advantage, so they will be able to kick this one for the corner, but it won't be Amoni Narawa who scores the next drive for the Chiefs. We might have to wait a little bit longer to see that man cross the try line. Nice rolling maul from the Chiefs. That time it's a try. And it will be Samasoni Tolkiaho who does manage to get it. They'll be more than happy with that, the Chiefs. Just persisting with it. Just continuously going at that line. And eventually getting their way over. Oh, good. Sorry, I've been missing. Or I've been missing. Been shopping. See you all later. Great scoreboard. Close. Rebels are also doing well here. And yes, says Octodad. But yeah, good finish from the Chiefs to make their way over the try line with Samasoni Tolhiaho. And yeah, that one I don't think will be affected by the TMO here. And bad connection here, says Reuben. Sunshine now, grey skies and blue again in Cape Town. The rain is still falling in Melbourne, I should mention, but the kick from Damian McKenzie is successful and they are now sitting 20 points to 11 up at this stage of the match. The Chiefs with 34 minutes to play with. And like they said, once they got momentum there, the Chiefs, it's going to be extremely hard to... Hang on. Was that Dyer who scored? I thought it was Samasoni Tolkiaho who scored that try, but Dyer was getting like the pat on the head. One moment, we're going to have to check this. Oh, 5 blue. That is against Josh Canham for hitting a man without the ball. It's the last thing that you want to be doing now is giving away silly penalties. And like they've said, it's just a bit of frustration from Josh Canham. The 2 tries, was it Dyer or was it Taukiaho? It was Taukiaho. They were just patting George Dyer on the back of the head. Aussies can still do this. They can. They're still in with half a shot here. Yeah, just tackling the wrong man, Josh Ginnam. Not exactly the way that you want to do it. And with someone like Josh Ginnam, who's been so dangerous in this year of Super Rugby Pacific, you know, he's hardly made mistakes. So the last thing that you want to do is start making them now. That's close to the turnover. Mistake made from the Chiefs. But there was a knock-on from the Rebels. The Chiefs have got themselves another scrum. D-Mac started the season with a change and is kicking ritual by flicking his leg before following through. Coach probably told him to don't do that, bruh, says Laurie. Yeah, there it is, just a knock-on from Tualima. Now, it wasn't a huge knock-on. Like, it was just one of those ones that he was trying to flick the ball back and ended up getting caught in the hand of the Chiefs player as well. Looks like some drinks being run onto the field for the players after 48 and a half minutes. Pretty wet out there at this current stage of the match. And smile and kick it over, says Octodad there. But that's the thing, like, he still is a great kicking accuracy, Damian McKenzie, and I would say he would be the kicker for the All Blacks if he's in the starting lineup. And then I guess you've got now the rumour of Moonga being back. I'd assume that you go with Moonga off the bench, though. I don't think you'd start him, if I'm being honest. I feel like you're much better off giving the start to Damian McKenzie. And then having Moonga off the bench. I was just checking. Rebels are still considered pretty much out of this game in terms of the odds. They're $18 underdogs as we currently sit. I had to kind of double take it and look at it again because, once again, they're only 1 try out from being back into this game. Now, it's going to be tough because the Chiefs, like I mentioned at the start of the second half, I said that I felt like the first 10 minutes, that is when the Chiefs were really going to start trying to pump those legs and make those meters. But I still think it's been very impressive from the Rebels throughout that first 49 minutes of this game. They haven't really missed a step too much. Jacobson picks it up, goes off to Cortez Aratama and behind to Amoni Narua. Man who was close to scoring himself a try before, but did end up missing the chance. Cross kick from Damian McKenzie. Kicked him behind now from Etino Nanasatoro. McKenzie would be pissed if Mwanga returned and made 10 after such a phenomenal season. Yeah, it would be pretty brutal. And I feel like that would be, like, for me anyway, if I was McKenzie and that happened, and they said, sorry, Mwanga's had a bit of experience before, so we're going to give it to him, even though you've been playing in New Zealand the whole season, like, I would be livid if I was McKenzie. And I don't think he'd be, like, he wouldn't say he was annoyed, but you'd have to be, wouldn't you? Like, at the end of the day, that's your jersey that you've missed out on because a guy's come back. But, yeah, I think Moonga off the bench will be the more likely option. To be honest, I don't think they'll start McKenzie. Or, sorry, I don't think they'll start Moonga. Now, Moninarua, nice break of the line. Kalen Boshia, he's in touch. They'll go back for another penalty. It's too many at the moment against them. Like I said, no advantage taken there by the Chiefs, although it was always going to be hard to do, seeing as Rebels, they've been tackling well. They've missed 20 tackles, right, but they've still made quite a few important tackles throughout this contest. Looks like Damian McKenzie, they are calling for the shot this time. So this will give them a 12-point lead in this match. 43 metres out will be for Damian McKenzie. Not exactly the easiest kick that we will see, but still a chance for Damian McKenzie. He certainly has the distance, definitely in a game like this. Ready to line up this one. Jordan Ulesi not happy with their repeat infringements coming from the Rebels in the second half. It's going to hurt them in the long run here. They can't sort out who's the better player, D-Mac or Moonga. That depends on who you talk to and what you're looking for in a player. I feel like that's something that heavily impacts it, because some people like the way that Damian McKenzie plays. Some people like the way that Moonga plays. Like Moonga at the Crusaders, that's a good kick from McKenzie. But like McKenzie has always been that consistent, decent option for the Chiefs. Moonga's always had a brilliant backline outside him as well, which has helped in Super Rugby. Sometimes at international level, there have been times that neither of them have been playing their best rugby overall, but there's still been enough from them that I think that they could both take that 10 jersey, if that makes sense. Who would your preferred starting fullback be for the All Blacks? See, 15's a curious one, because people will say Sean Stevenson. If they watch this game, they probably wouldn't, because he did miss an easy tackle on Glenn Vaihu and let him through. But, like, yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think that Ruben Love, the way that he's been playing, he's got to be in the argument. I think that Jordie Barrett, if they're going to play him at 12, you know, it's going to be pretty tricky to get that jersey, because Quintal Pai's in great form, so is Leonard Brown. And they've got a few other options at 12 and 13 that could be handy. Rico will be in there somewhere more than likely. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Stevenson seems like the obvious choice, but there's actually a chance that they go with, like, to be honest, they may even go Beauden Barrett at fullback. It might not be what people want to see, but it's something that they may end up doing, just because they've done it before and they'll probably do it again. But will they under Razor? That's the question. Nice run down the wing from Rob Leota here, whose name I missed the T out of. Moonga spoiled for choice in the next World Cup. The AB's Tonga or Samoa to choose from, says Lowry. Or Laurie, I should say there. Stevenson has actually been taken off the field. That is for Rameka Poihipi, as the man who's replaced him. Now off to the left-hand side. Short ball to Josh Canham. No, in fact, it's Tualima. And Narawa gives away the penalty advantage. Now Lowrens on the short side. Off to Filippo Dalgunu. Puts in two big fins. Tokiaho off the field for Jared Prophet. Dyer off the field for Ruben O'Neill. In fact, Jared Prophet is on for 17. Little grubber for that is smart from Strawn. It almost helped lead to a try. We might even see one here. No advantage. Get the ball, Chiefs. And Hamish, enjoy something tasty for dinner. Get some sleep. I'm sure it's been a marathon commentary, although this has been pretty light compared to what we're going to have in the near future. We are going to have a total of 6 live streams tomorrow that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gents. So it's going to be a mission, but it's going to be a fun one. And hopefully you guys are here throughout those live streams as well, making a super delivery with Kat. Every time it pops up, I end up reading it. But it's pretty much like a KFC ad that's just trying to tempt me to get some Kentucky Fried Chicken. It does look good, though. I will say that. 55 minutes and 25 minutes remaining in this match. Nick Berry shows Nick Huster where the mark is. And Rameka could be a fullback for the AB, says Daniel Cox. I mean, they're really spoiled for choice. And I should mention Zahn Sullivan as well, if his injury stays away, could even be something that Razor looks at as a bit of an option. But I don't know. I feel like there's a chance that Ruben Love, with how well he's playing, could get it. But then at the same time, I don't think, like, if Jordie Barrett couldn't slot in at 12, I'd say that they'll want him on the field somewhere. So there's a chance that we see a Barrett at 15. All Blacks fullback is spicy with Ruben Love too. True. Like, Ruben Love for me at the moment, I think would be my choice. And I would have Stevenson off the bench just because he offers a little bit more in terms of his different positions he can play. He could be on the wing. He could be at fullback. Probably play in the centres as well without too much trouble. Sean Stevenson. So that is why I would have Love as starting and then Stevenson off the bench. Which I know isn't very popular, seeing as this is also a Chiefs game. So a lot more people are going to be back in Stevenson. And it now Brad Wilkin, 5 metres from the line now for the Rebels. They've just put together some nice phases back to back to back. They're up to 5 now. Hopefully Zahn Sullivan, he's my favourite player outside of the Chiefs, says King. Around the side, Dungunu gets that little bit closer. Another penalty offside. Advantage to Alima. He's 1 metre out. Gibbon goes back to Gordon. Skip pass to Jake Storm. One more to Anderson. And he scores the try for the Rebels. The Seagulls are flying in the background, but the Rebels are now back into this game yet again. We are spoiled for choice as well with halfbacks. Well, the problem they've got at the moment for halfbacks is one of the really good future options isn't going to be selected, I believe. Because at the moment, you've got Cortez Ratima, you've got Falau Fakatava, and then, you've got Roygaard when he's available, but he's not currently. Who was the other one that I had in mind of the options at All Blacks? Falau Fakatava, Cortez Ratima, and there's one other who was right up there. And I'm not talking about TJ Perenara. There was another guy who I can't think of off the top of my head. Thinking through New Zealand sides. Xavier Rowe, was slightly mentioned, but I don't think he'll get it now that Cortez Ratima is in the form that he is. Finley Christie, I don't see him being there of his current form. Eustace missed that one, and that's now going to make the score at 16 points to 23. I think the locks who fill the shoes of Retallick and Whitelock will shape the forward, says Laurie. It's better to blood the new players and see them medal than rest the quality in the All Blacks will boost whoever is fly half, says a roof there as well. Big smile on the face at the moment of Lockie Anderson, Richard Judd. He's looked all right. I don't think he'll be an All Black, though, unfortunately for Richard Judd. Funaki's actually coming to his own in the last little while. And to be honest, he is now, I don't know if he's eligible, though, is the only thing. I don't know whether he's looking at the All Blacks as an option or whether he is looking at, I don't know whether he's eligible for Samoa or Tonga, but I believe it is one of the two. I think it's Tonga, if I'm correct, for Taufa Funaki. Talakai now off the field. That is for Pone Fa'amasili. Now, they actually loaned him to a different side, but then because of all the injuries that they are having here, the Rebels, they actually had to ask for him back. Now moving forward. Bounce pass from Xavier Rowan. Rough pass there on the outside. Funaki is Tongan. Says Lowry there. So yeah, he's probably got a very good chance of getting selected for Tonga in the upcoming games. It was recently announced that Tonga in July are going to go head-to-head with the Reds. Triple T. Once again, I think that he probably won't get the chance. I'd say that they'll go Cortez Ratima first choice from the Chiefs, then Xavier Rowe, and then Triple T, just because they haven't really given him a huge amount of game time either to Huriorangi, so they probably won't give him the All Blacks call-up. Still too close for me. The Chiefs need 2 more tries and not let the Rebels score any more. Says Novma Matuvavai. That's not straight. This time from Bradley Slater, I believe it is. Okay, so even if you don't contest, if you catch it on that shoulder, yeah, it's not that straight. And Ulala put some petrol in that tank, Hamish. Okay. No way the Chiefs will beat the Hurricanes, says Stuart Moore. Although the Hurricanes only just bet in 10th place. Moana Pacifica, who have 3 wins so far throughout the season, whereas the Chiefs have 8. So, week by week, things can change drastically. But, yeah, it's setting up to be a really good contest between those two sides, which is great to see. At the moment, the bonus point is in play for the Rebels as they are in that 7 or less category. Still 20 minutes left, and they're 10 metres from their line here, the Rebels. Lawrence about to feed the ball in. Are we thinking Noah Hotham at 9? He's had a few good games, Noah Hotham. But I'm sure there was another one. I think it was actually earlier on in the season when Rowe was playing well that I had my 3rd one. That one hasn't really gone that far. But it's well taken by Lockie Anderson, of course, from that 7s background. Going to be great under a high ball. But yeah, Hotham might actually be one that Robinson looks at, mainly because he is a Crusaders boy, so he's probably seen a little bit of him through developmental. We don't know what type of loyalty will lie for Robinson and his Crusaders boys. It's going to be kicked downfield from Carter Gordon, well taken on the halfway line by Quinn Tupai, who's just been everywhere in this game. That looked a little bit high from Pone Whaamasili. Now Natua Akui, 40 metres out from the line. Vai with a nice offload, but it's knocked on again from Jared Prophet. And go the Chiefs go, says Arn Nichols. And also Aussies, says Roof. Now, there's plenty of mistakes coming from the Chiefs, and of course they're saying about the terrible conditions that they are playing in, but it's a big shot from Pone Whaamasili. A bit high, to be fair. Oh, now they're checking something against the Chiefs late by the sounds of it. Nah, bind up, says Nick Berry. You don't want a bar of it. If you want a consistent 9, Mitchell Drummond has been that for years. Like, that's the thing. Drummond, I think if there was one more injury, or 2 more injuries, Drummond would probably be in. The problem that they've got with Drummond, though, is like, don't get me wrong, he's consistent, but he also hasn't had many games where he's completely lit the world on fire, if that makes sense. Like, he'll always give you about a 7 out of 10 for the Crusaders, and every once in a while he has a good run, but a majority of the time, you know, you're looking for that guy who's got that 8 or that 9 out of 10. When you're thinking of Sam Knock at 9, don't think so, no. Even though he's had a couple good games, the Northland representative. Go the Chiefs go, says Gita. 17 minutes left with a few more scrum resets coming here. Ball was knocked on by Jared Prophet. Crowd, a little bit more silent than they were at the start of this half. I believe that is because they know that this is such a crucial part of the overall game. If the Rebels can get a few things right here, they'll be in a great position to possibly go on and win this match. That is a big scrum from the Chiefs, but the penalty goes away of the Rebels for illegal wheeling from Jared Prophet again. That is now his knock-on and the penalty in a row that he has given away. Moon, come on, keep it close, Aussies. Says Ruth. 16 minutes left now. Lining up the touchline here, it is Nick Euster. He's got a great kick on him as well. Gets plenty on that one. Around 40 metres out now from the Chiefs line. The Rebels, this is their time. How far out is the penalty? They're like 35 from their own line, so they ain't kicking it pretty much is the gist of it. But now they are about 38 metres out from the Chiefs line. And 105, Constitution Day here. And the sun is blazing. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. It's going to be thrown in. Nicely taken. Lawrence goes across to Gordon Dalgunu. Tried to go through, but Ramika Poyepi is there to make the tackle. Smith hits it up. Just thought about that next pass to a Rebels replacement and Rob Leota. Now they've actually gone with a 6-2 split in this game. Could actually be quite handy because they did lose Ekuasi, slapped back by the Rebels, but there was a knock on from McKenzie initially. So we got another scrum, ladies and gentlemen. This second half has been plagued with them. Scrum after scrum after scrum is the way that it is currently sitting. Hey, Roof. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Should also mention, for anyone who doesn't know, the first game that we are doing tomorrow is starting at 2 p.m. New Zealand time. And that is going to be the matchup taking place between the Fijian draw and the Reds, followed by the game between the Crusaders and the Brumbies, and then followed by the Highlanders versus Blues. Then 3 games of the URC starting at midnight. So we aren't doing Waratahs versus Western Force. That'll be the game where we get to have food and get ready for those next 3 games that we will be doing. In Norway, sun blazing. In there, says Ruth. Melbourne Hooker gets in the way, says Hanoi there. That's Jordan Ulysses, I believe, that you are talking about. Ryan Lowren's now, big push from the Chiefs. The ball's come out the back door for the Rebels. Dalgoon, oh, he slipped over. And I think that's going to be a knock-on this time against the Rebels. McKenzie going for the kick in behind, looking to curve it towards the touchline. It's going to stay in the field of play and forced down by Glenn Vaihu for the goal line dropout. And that man's hardly touched the ball since he had that first run over the top of Sean Stevenson to score his try. Other than that, it's been quite a rarity to see that man with ball in hand. Now Carter Gordon. Don't think he'll be too far off. Maybe another switch here for the Rebels. Although actually, would they bring Ripley back out or is he already back out? He might actually still be on the field. That's going to be the penalty now. Going the way of the Rebels again. Gordon looks like the bad security guard on the firm. Tom Cruise. He does look like a superhero villain, doesn't he? Like, he just doesn't look like he smiles either. Did you see the highlights of the Women's State of Origin? I did not. I didn't actually know it was on, to be fair. Men's State of Origin's not too far away, actually, now that I have been reminded about that. I think it's probably like 30 days or maybe a bit longer. We get to see the Men's State of O. Where is it? We'll go a bit further down. There it is. 18 days away. That's pretty close. First international game is actually going to be taking place Japan versus England. That is in 35 days' time. Interesting. But now, trying to break his way through is Caleb Boshier. All of a sudden, we're also almost at the the July internationals. Champions Cup, 8 days' time. And then that will be the end of that contest. It's going to be Leinster versus Toulouse in the final. Gloucester versus the Sharks, taking place at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was a late night game. Go with the other one. They're always a little bit nicer on the body. Stavanger is the best place on the planet. All the girls are dressed up for Constitution Day and the summer sun is special indeed, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Excited to see what Schmidt can do with the Aussie team, says Annoy. So how'd the Women's State of Origin go, Mumbo Jumbo? Out of curiosity, looks like Caleb Boshier's day is done. And that is going to be for Wallace Satiti, who will be replacing him. McBurry has been asking for the scrum to be a little bit closer all throughout this game. I think that is why we've had so much of the front rows just collapsing under the pressure. Norway, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Now, Tino Nana Satoro. He's had quite a few runs throughout this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another here with where he is positioned on the field. Wallace Satiti, though, going off the back. Seems like Jacobson is binding on the side of the scrum. Chiefs 9 is shorter than the Rebels guy. Ball on the outside of Jared Prophet. About 50 metres out, and the penalty advantage does go the way of the Chiefs. NRL Blues won the first State of Origin game last night. Did they win it comfortably, or was it a close game in the end, Laurie? Do let me know. And come on, the Chiefs, you need a try. And okay, Oslo, Norway. Yeah, it's going to be interesting for the 3 rounds, or 2 rounds, in fact, that we've got remaining for Super Rugby, because every side can still make the quarterfinals. And the fact that they can still do that, it's crazy. Like they've just said, the Brumbies away from home is the Rebels' next game comfortably. So, like, really, really comfortably. I feel like I should just look up the score, shouldn't I? But by, like, I'd say anything 20 plus is comfortable, isn't it? And, like, oh, it's going to be a knock-on from Jacobson. Are you planning to stream the State of Origin? That is the plan. Myself and Dad more than likely will be covering that one. Or at least that's what we've done in the past. So hopefully we'll be able to do it again. So far, 11 errors in this game from the Chiefs. So an error-riddled side is never quite going to be able to get those massive points on the scoreboard. Seeing a great example of that here. 20 plus. Maroon's 12th, says Laurie. Now 9 minutes remaining. The next 2 games for the Chiefs. They've got a home game next week up against the Hurricanes. Then they've got the Blues in round 15. That is not an easy finish to the competition. Rabbit might do his final call. Or Rebs might do his final call for Origin. That would be a big shame, seeing as he's done, I don't even know how many, but he's done it for a very long time in the commentary box. Now going off to the right-hand side, Lawrence. And behind Canham, skip past Carter Gordon. Now again to Ilima. Little grubber of mine from Strawn. Finds open space, but McKenzie cleans it up. And they'll go back for another penalty in favour of the Rebels. This game's going to be anything but smooth for the final moments, but there's still a chance for both of the sides to be able to win it. And Vikings, we have crumpets on the beach in the UK sun tanning. A streaming Fury versus Usyk. This Sunday, David Yika on the draw card. I don't think we will be, unfortunately. Right, they aren't going time off by the sounds of it. I'll just quickly check. Wait, what time is it on? Fury versus Usyk. NZ time. I have a bad feeling that that's going to be in the time. It's 4 a.m. Oh, wait, no, with the ring walks at 10 a.m. New Zealand time. Is that on Sunday or is that on... I assume it's on Sunday. You said Sunday. Is that Sunday their time or Sunday our time? Now, even more ball and playtime can help this game, one mistake after the other. Yeah, and like 20 errors or so we've seen between both sides combined for this one. So it does hurt. Our Sunday, says Lowry. So I might be sleeping during it. I'll probably watch it later on in the day, I would say. Back across. Now Puna Fa'amasili. Going across Lowrens to Jordan Ulesi. They're 1 try away from being back into this contest here, the Melbourne Rebels. Lowrens back across to Gordon. Short ball to Eust. And 1 more to Anderson, who gets his 2nd try of the match. The Rebels with a kick to come to get back into this game and be level in this contest. Who would have thought it? The Rebels coaches, they will be more than happy with that. This is a Rebels side who are $18 underdogs, like I mentioned just before. And now they find themselves possibly in the potential spot of being able to go on and win this game. As a Chiefs fan, we don't need all this pressure from the Rebels. Give up already, says King, and yeah, come back. Says Hanoi there. Great finish from Lockie Anderson. Stayed low. 2 tries for him in this contest. They've been the difference so far. In fact, the Melbourne Rebels wingers have got all the tries. Glenn Vaihu as well as Lockie Anderson. Nice try fighting for survival, Rebels, says Lowry. And that's the thing, like, they aren't guaranteed to miss out if they lose this game. But this game will secure their spot. And you can see now in the later stages how much this is going to mean to this side. Possibly Golden Point. Possibly Justa at the moment. He is sitting 2 from 4. And he's sitting 3 from 5. It's over. And now 23 points for each of these sides. Now even even a loss in this game for the Rebels, if they're within 7, that will still help them out. One of the Aussie commentators is chanting Rebels at the moment. Can I change my vote to a draw? Sadly not. I think YouTube locked you in for whatever choice that you went with. Now deep inside of their own 22. Lockie Anderson, the 2-time try scorer with that ball in hand. Oh, tell you what, the back's going to be brutal tomorrow. I can tell already from the amount of streams that we have got lined up. The Rebels crowd are chanting for their side. And that ball has been kicked into touch. They'll be about 30 metres out from the line now, the Chiefs. We're talking about odds. The Chiefs are $1.42 favourites. The Rebels, $2.60 underdogs. And like they're just saying, Golden Point is a real option here with the fact that these sides at the moment only have 4 minutes to try and finish the job. Bradley Slater, at the moment, he hasn't really had a huge amount of straight line-out throws. I know grandstand finish coming up, says King. Nicely taken by Natoa Akoi. Now the run forward from Atena Nanasatoro. Gordon makes the tackle. Wallace Satiti came into his own in his last game. When was the last time T-Mac drop kick? It's been a little while. I don't see the Rebels going for a drop kick in this one unless they've got the penalty advantage. But in that case, they'll probably still go for the try. Xavier Rowe, cross to Wallace Setiti. They're 15 metres out. Nice step from Josh Ioane, who's taken down hard by Pune Famasili, who's almost knocked himself silly making that tackle. Do you think Crusaders can beat the Brumbies? I think it's going to be a great game, and I hope it's close. Now, Narawa, change in direction. They're 5 metres out. Eventually, the Rebels manage to drag him down, not rolling away. Penalty advantage straight in front of the post for the Chiefs. Now, Jacobson can hit this one up just that little bit further. Oh, and they'll go back. That's a big call from Nick Berry. That ball was available at the back for the Chiefs. I didn't see a knock on, so I'm not sure what actually caused that to stop rather than being continue playing. Yeah, Natawa Koi says King, and told you if the Rebels play well, it was going to be close, says Bads Ablaze. 5 metres out. I thought that Rowe was going to have a little crack there at getting another pass away. The Chiefs, they are going to go for the 3 points here. They will still be within the 7, the Rebels, but they would much rather receive the full points available from this one. (78-17) is when Damien McKenzie has to kick this one by. He's got 20 seconds. The crowd aren't going to like it, but he has to use up as much time as he can on the clock to take it into deep water. But there's also the other factor, which is, does that hurt the Chiefs? Do they use up too much time? But he's kicked that one over from Damien McKenzie, and that will now make the score 26 points to 23. Game over? I would not guarantee that. Still 90 seconds remaining. What if Crusaders win against the Brumbies and draw wins against the Reds? Then the table gets a whole lot closer, because the draw would still be in the top 8. Crusaders would be just outside, and they'd still have 2 games left to try and get back up. Right, the time is off at the moment due to substitutions being made. Jordan Ulesi will make his way from the field. The replacement hook is going to get a minute 20, and that is going to be Dobbins. And 3 points with the play on the timer. Classic Damien McKenzie. Says King. It's going to be kicked off. Good pressure coming in, but McKenzie cleans the ball up. They're inside of their own 22. Rebels flopping over the top of the breakdown. But it's still there for them, and boom. Aussies, yeah, never say die. Says Ruth. They're being told to use it now. Simon Parker. They're inside of their own 22 at the moment here for the Chiefs, and it looks like they are going to be kicking this one into touch with Joshua. Great kick. They've got to take it quickly. I was going to say they've got a replacement hooker who hasn't had a throw yet. Surely you take that one quickly if you're the Melbourne Rebels. They've got 40 seconds left now. This game has a lot of mistakes, but who cares? The fact that it is competitive and both is keeping both fans from both sides interested. A competitive competition is more important than a type of rugby they play. Says WLK, and 1 minute game time is indeed not a lot of time remaining now. 40 seconds past the 79th minute, which gives us now down to 15. Tackle well by Wallace Satiti. If you're the Reds and you win the penalty, what do? Do you go for the kick from here and take it to golden point? I think you've got to, don't you? But even if you miss, the Chiefs win, so it's a hard one to decide on. There is the full-time siren. The Rebels looking for their last big run forward. The Chiefs know that they just have to defend. Carter Gordon back across. Strawn goes to Canham. Dalgunu with the handling error. He throws it forward, and that'll be the end of the game. The Chiefs are victorious, but the Rebels will get themselves the losing bonus point, which will still boost them up that little bit more in the overall standing. So the Chiefs, they will go ahead of the Brumbies. They move to 3rd just for now. And the Rebels, they move to 26, which is almost enough to keep them in the top 8, but it is not confirmed as of yet. They still need a couple more wins, ladies and gents. So we have to wait and see whether or not they can. Well, they need 1 win. That is the big one. And if they can do that, they will be in the quarters. Okay, it's definitely over now, Hamish. Well, the final whistle's blown, Daniel, so that's normally a fair indication that the game is over. Thank you, Hamish, for the good commentary. Good game, enjoy your rest. See you tomorrow, says Brian. Congrats, Chiefs. Thanks for the commentary. Hamish, rest well. See you tomorrow. And up the Chiefs, says Pads Ablaze. Augusta's defending South African name playing for the Aussies. So here's Roof there, and who do the Brumbies got this weekend? They are playing up against the Crusaders. And that game is going to be taking place at 4:35 p.m. tomorrow. I believe we have got 3 games of Super Rugby back-to-back-to-back tomorrow that we are covering, including the first one, which is the Fijian drawer taking on the Reds, followed by Brumbies versus Crusaders, followed then by the match between the Highlanders and the Blues, and then 3 games of the URC starting at midnight, all going back-to-back-to-back. And those ones as well. What a close game. See as well, yeah, extremely close game between the two sides, but the Chiefs get it done by just the 3 points. They are just talking to Damien McKenzie as well. He would have been nervous throughout those final moments. Will you stream the Connaught versus Stormers? That is the plan. That is one of the 3 URC ones that we are going to be covering. Thank you, lads. Bye, everyone. Says cross-boarding, so we will see you later, mate. But yeah, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as well. We will be scheduling those streams in the near future. But I will see you all for the next one.